Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ace Started there, and today Nintendo and Game Freak revealed to us some wonderful information about the new legendary mythical Pokemon called Diancie. Oh my goodness, this thing just looks so cool, and I'm so excited for it. But there's still a lot of things that we don't know about Diancie, like what are its moves going to be? How are you going to get Carbink to turn into this thing? You know, its moves it's going to learn. Just a lot of information that you guys need to know about it. So I'm going to be trying my best to explain to you guys the logic around this thing, and how we can assume the things that it's going to learn and how it's going to change form and the different moves it's going to learn. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how you're going to get Carbink to turn into this thing. It's like, okay, you look at Carbink and you look at Diancie, there's some clear differences right here. Like, you can see that Carbink is just a rock with a little bit of diamonds in it with eyes. I mean, it's really just not that immaculate. It's just wow, okay. And then you look at Diancie and it's like, wow, look at this graceful, elegant looking Pokemon. There's diamonds all over it. There's eyes, there's ears, there's this jewel around its neck. It's really elegant, it's really graceful, right? So it's just like, how are you gonna get a Carbink to turn into this thing? Well, the thing that's really the most important about this thing is the fact that it's a different color than Carbink. You know, Carbink is blue and this thing is pink. The other thing that's really significant about it is the fact that Diancie has a lot to do with the light. It's a glittering Pokemon. It has a lot of things about it that have correlations to light. So if you think about the fact that it's pink and the fact that it has a lot to do with light, and the fact if you look on its head, it looks like there might be a little sun right there, that should be a lot of a clue towards something that we already know in the game. And if you guys haven't already figured it out, it has something to do with the sundial in Anastar City. So, as you can see, the sundial in Anastar City, it's gigantic, it's pink, it's glittering, and then it has this event that has to do with light that happens in the evening. Wait a minute. Wait. Those things kind of correlate, right? So I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe there's going to be some sort of event to happen that if you expose Carbink to this light, that it's going to be turning into Diancie. It also says right here that it's a sudden and extremely rare mutation. As we all know, this thing only happens 1 hour a day, and that's in the evening. And a sudden and strange mutation usually would happen when you have exposure to something like light, right? So what I'm assuming is that, hey, you're gonna put Carbink in the air, or place Carbink in the sundial, or place it somewhere, and then what it's going to do is that it's going to cause it to change form and change into Diancie. That's what I'm assuming, and the fact that Diancie has a sun on its face probably has a lot to do with the sun. The next thing we're going to move on to is the moves that Diancie's going to learn. As you can see, Diancie and Carbink, they kind of learn the same things, but then they kind of don't too. So everything that Diancie goes for at first, the Dazzling Gleam, the Calm Eye, and Carbink can learn. But what proves that this thing's going to be learning different moves from Carbink is the fact at the end it goes for a Hyper Beam. That's very significant because if you look at the moves that Carbink can learn, Carbink cannot learn Hyper Beam. So this means that Diancie could have a possibility of learning some sort of signature move that we don't know about yet. And it's probably going to have a different move pool than Carbink because, you know, Carbink can't learn the same things that Diancie can, as you can see by the fact that it went for a Hyper Beam. The most important thing that everyone wants to know about Diancie are what its stats are going to be. I mean, it has an okay typing with Rock Fairy. I mean, it has a resistance to normal, to flying, to bug, to fire, and to dark, and an immunity to dragon, which all sound pretty good, but then has a weakness to the common ground, steel, water, and grass typing. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to use this thing, or if anyone's going to be using this thing, it's going to be mostly for its move pool and what its stats are going to be. Alright, so I did a calculation here showing the power of Carbink with its base 50 special attack, HP, and speed stats. It's a 252 EV'd, max IV'd in the special attack, modest nature, choice specs Carbink using a Dazzling Gleam versus a 0 HP, 0 IV in special defense, minus special defensive nature to Gudra. That did 64.1% to 76.6%. That's actually not that good, seeing as it's super effective, and the fact that, oh my goodness, that has some really abysmal defense right there, and it's probably unlikely that anything's going to be having that kind of stats. So looking at this preview, you can see that the Diancie went for a Dazzle Gleam versus this Gudra. Gudra has a massive amounts of special defense, and it took a load of damage from this. So it's like, okay, well, I'm assuming that its stats are going to be a little bit different. I mean, we don't even know if that actually KO'd the Gudra or not because the scene changed so quickly that you couldn't actually see how much damage it really did do. So it's like, okay, well, it could have done more and it could have just been stopped right there, but I mean, we don't know yet. So the thing about this is like, okay, look at Diancie and then look at Carbink, right? Carbink just shoots beams out of its head according to the Pokedex. But if you look at Diancie and look at the description of it, according to this, it shoots out diamonds at people. Now, that just might seem like, oh, whatever, they're shooting out rocks. No, that's kind of a problem. Okay, diamonds are the hardest mineral on Earth as of now. The hardest. I mean, it's going to be really hard to break a diamond. If you are throwing the hardest mineral on Earth at something or somebody, that's not just gonna be, oh, I can just brush it off. No, that's gonna be a problem. Someone throwing diamonds at you, you need to get out of the way, because that's going to be hurting you a lot. So Diancie, I'm assuming its defenses with Carbink are gonna probably switch around, so it's probably gonna be like 150 base special attack, and its defenses, I'm assuming, are gonna be like 75, because it's a legendary Pokemon apparently, and so legendary Pokemon usually have 600 base stat points or higher, so I'm assuming its defenses are probably gonna be like 75. Its speed is probably gonna stay the same, because you look at Diancie and you look at Carbink, I mean, there's nothing much that happened to the lower halves of their body. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's really not that much faster. I mean, all it did was get some arms, a face, and like big diamond hair. So it's really not much happening for the speed. And I'm also assuming that its HP is probably going to be staying the same, because most things that change form, if you look at Mega Evolutions and you look at Kyurem, they don't actually change the HP stat. Everything else gets different except the HP. So I'm assuming that the HP is still going to be an abysmal low base 50. Overall, I really cannot wait to see the results of Diancie. I can't wait to see its move pool, its stats, how to evolve it. I can't wait to see any of those things. I'm really excited for it. So I need you guys to tell me how you feel about this thing. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I just all over the place with this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? How do you feel about Diancie? Just leave some comments about it, you know? What's your guys' opinions about it? So this has been acestaromari. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope Diancie has some really cool and amazing things, and I hope we all can get to use this really amazing Pokemon. This has been acestaromari. I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.